Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Linode. You can build it on Linode. Get started today with $100 in free credit for MacVoices listeners and viewers at linode.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is part 2 of our second holiday gift guide of the year with Josh Centers and Jeff Gamet. And the first part, I have to tell you, there were some really interesting picks, but it gets even more interesting this time. So let's get right back to it. So we go to round 3 with Mr. Gamet.
All right. Well, no technology this time. I am going with a book, although I guess we could tie it into technology by saying it's available on Kindle as well. But here we go. This book is, there we go, and I've got it on the screen, Pen and Ink Drawing, and it's by Alphonso Dunn. So if you are interested in improving your drawing skills, or if you don't think you can draw but would like to learn, this book is amazing. This book, I will go so far as to say, is the definitive manual or book on learning how to draw with pen and ink or pencil, or like really taking your skill set to a new level. And Alphonso, he is like stunningly talented, and he's been teaching. I believe he's a professor, and so he's been teaching art and drawing for years and years and years. So when people make the joke about, well, he's so good he wrote the book about it. No, Alphonso is literally so good he wrote the book, and this is available on Amazon for $17.96 in paperback, this one right here, or $9.99 for Kindle. And it takes you through tons of exercises, and instead of coming into this as an intimidating thing, he comes into it with, well, what do you have around your house that you can pick up and make marks with? Is it a pen? Is it a pencil? What kind of pen? Whatever. Let's just start with what we have and develop techniques from there. And he did create a companion book for this. It has like a bunch of other projects, and I haven't played with that. It's so funny. I'm so used to talking about just technology stuff. I said I haven't played with it. I haven't gotten that book and done the exercises, so I can't speak to how good those are. But based on the quality of the lessons that are in this book, I can only imagine that the companion exercise book is just straight up amazing. So now what I did to add to this, yes, I could get this book off Amazon. When I went to order it on Amazon, it was back ordered. So I called my local bookstore and asked them if they could get it, and it was back ordered. So it took them about a week to get it, but I got it from my local bookstore. And you know what? It just felt really nice to walk down the street and go to their special outdoor table where they would bring the bag out to you and hand me my book. And I had an awesome book in hand that I got to walk home with and start playing with right away. And I was supporting my local economy.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm afraid he probably can't help me because I'm just not talented in that way. But
you may say that, but you haven't tried this book.
No, that's true. That's true. So, okay.
Here's a tech angle. If you have an iPad and an Apple Pencil, you get the book, right? You can draw on your iPad.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Yes. And I draw on my iPad all the time, but when I've been trying the different lessons in this book, I've been using pens and pencil on paper. For me, there's just something wonderful about that tactile feedback that I get from using pen or pencil and actual paper. Although I do a lot of drawing on my iPad. So thanks, Josh. Now I'm going to go back and try some of these lessons on just my iPad.
And thanks, Josh, because maybe now you've just cost me money because now somebody will say you have to try it on the iPad just because, that's a tech angle. So,
well, for under $20, you can get this book and broaden your horizons and empower yourself with a pencil.
I'm all for empowering myself with pencil or anything else. Rocket launcher, whatever.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, exactly. Josh, round 3.
All right. For the third round, I always tend to go a little banana pants. So sticking with the same theme, I'm actually working on an article right now for the Prepared about this. But I get this question all the time. We get this question all the time on our forums. I see it all the time in Facebook groups. And you're going to laugh. You're going to snicker a bit. But people are just constantly asking about EMPs. Now, EMP, it's
interesting.
Electromagnetic pulse. And they're typically caused by one of two things. Either the sun will sometimes do what's called a coronal mass ejection. There was the last big one was in the 19th century, destroyed telegraph lines, and would have probably wreaked havoc if they had the kind of electronics then that we do now. And then the more infamous way an EMP can happen is realistically is through a nuclear explosion, which if we're at that point, you probably have bigger problems. If you ever watched the movie GoldenEye, that of course was the big sci-fi weapon in GoldenEye was a big EMP. What EMP will do is it will. I'm going to dumb this down as much as possible because I need to dumb it down to understand it. But basically, it will shoot electricity through circuits. So anything that isn't shielded will get fried. Doesn't matter if it's plugged in or not. And so anyway, very slight chance this will happen. Although there is a 1 to 3% chance one will be emitted by the sun every year. Although my understanding is the ones created by the sun will not destroy small electronics, but still, people ask about this all the time. They get so tore up about it. And there's a lot of companies, I won't name any because I don't want to get sued, but there's a lot of companies that sell these snake oil solutions. Or people think they have to, wrap everything in tinfoil. There actually is a very cheap solution to the EMP problem. And so if you know somebody who's worried about this, I wouldn't just spring this on grandma, or she'll be putting aluminum foil around your head. But, if you know somebody who's actually seriously worried about this, here's all you need: a metal trash can. Get them a metal trash can, okay? And there's actually a nice one. I saw there's a ham radio guy, Josh, KI6NAZ, who did a whole guide on this. And of course, my Amazon's lost it. Dadgummit. Anyway, but all you need is a metal trash can. I will, Chuck, I'll send you a link to, there's a little small 6-gallon one with a locking lid if you want something a little more compact. But, the large ones are about the same price, around $30. And now here's the trick. So the metal trash can acts as something called a Faraday cage. It blocks all radio signals from coming in or out. Now, there's a little trick to this that I've been learning about. EMP can still get in through the tiny gap between the lid and the can itself. And so you need something to close that gap. Now, a very cheap solution you can toss in is a roll of foil tape, the kind of stuff you use to repair ductwork. It's like duct tape, except it's made of aluminum. It's like, it's $6 a roll, $10 a roll. It's pretty cheap, and you can just wrap the edge with the foil tape. Now there is a little cleaner solution, and I'll make sure I send a link to this as well, Chuck. They make this mesh material that you put around the outside of the lid on the inside, like where the corner is. And you just put that around. I think it's like about $10 for a strip of this stuff. And you just put that on the inside, close it up, and that will seal out any bad waves from getting in your trash can. Now, all you have to do, ideally, you'd line your trash can with something like some cardboard, bubble wrap, maybe both, just give it a little cushioning. And then here's what you can do. You take up all the electronic crap around your house that you don't use. And, for the three of us, that's probably quite a bit. I mean, it's probably
I'm going to need a bigger trash can.
Right. You might need a few. But yeah, take your old laptops, take your old tablets, take your old phones, as long as they're working. I mean, if they're not working, then, what's the point? But if you got this stuff laying around, not having any kind of special use, Of course, make sure you store it. Remove the battery if you can. Of course, we're talking about Apple, so you can't remove anything. But yeah, throw it in that trash can, seal it up, and then if that's something something you're worried about, or and then heaven forbid that ever happens, or if you have an EMP, you're going to have a trash can full of electronic goodies that work, and you can do stuff like, let's say you have an old Kindle, you could put some prepping books, survival kind of books in there, on your Kindle. You could load an old laptop full of stuff like that, say videos from YouTube that might be useful. There's lots of possibilities with this sort of thing. But yeah, just stick all that stuff in your tactical trash can. It'll be safe from EMPs. And then, and if nothing else, it's a fun way to store that old stuff that makes it semi-useful, and it's not going in a landfill. And again, it's one of those things, very low chance of happening, but if it were to happen, potentially catastrophic. But it's a nice gift. If you know somebody who's really anxious about this stuff, I do know people who are really anxious about it. You can help ease their anxieties a bit. Like, why'd you give me a trash can? Well, Uncle Jeff, you're always worried about the Canadians bombing, nuking us and frying your laptop. So now you have a solution. So yeah, that's my crazy pants holiday pick.
Josh, I have a question for you about your crazy pants holiday pick.
Yes, sir.
So as you were describing the whole trash can thing, in my mind, I'm going, of course. And then I'm thinking, but wait, it doesn't seal tight, and that's a lot of energy coming through there. Do you need to get the aluminum tape? And then you said that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally on this. So when you said ideally you'd put like cardboard or bubble wrap or something down in there, is that so that you're creating an insulating layer between the metal of the trash can and your electronic devices, or is that just so stuff doesn't get scratched?
It's just some padding. The metal should be sufficient. I've watched some tests. There's actually a doctor on YouTube who has some high-end testing equipment. There's some ways you can test this stuff yourself. Like you can throw a cell phone into the can, try to call it. It's funny. I was watching the guy I mentioned, KS6NAZ. He made a video. He bought one of those EMP bags, right? Like here, these advertised EMP bag. I don't know what brand it was, so hopefully they can't sue me. But anyway, he threw a cell phone in there and closed it up and called it, and it just rang. And he's like, "That doesn't work." And this was on a live stream, so it was extra funny. He was livid. So no, I don't think because there's even some people who they will store stuff in Mylar bags. Now, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't think, from what I've seen, they're not as reliable. I do think if you get ones that are thick enough, they'll work. But no, the metal is sufficient. You don't need an insulating layer. But I would recommend something, just in case your trash can gets tipped over. You don't want stuff, slamming into metal, slamming against each other. I would probably put some padding in there. If you got some old like shipping foam, bubble wrap, newspapers, things like that. And also that way, if anyone ever opens up your trash can and sees a bunch of old newspapers in there along with the electronics, they'll think you're extra crazy. So, but
Josh, I have to tell you, I love these shows because I just never know what's going to come up. We have never had on the show before the phrase tactical trash can. So that's a first. That's
probably never again.
Well, hey, you never know. I
love that term, tactical trash can.
Yeah. So
the great thing about the word, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say the great thing about the word tactical, you slap tactical in front of anything, the price goes up 3 times. So
easy.
So trash can, $30. Tactical trash can, $90.
Yeah. said from the man who, if you go to his website, is probably selling tactical everything. So
tactical gardening tools.
Tactical gardening tools. Yeah, there you go.
That's my next big venture.
Well, my third round pick, this is not going to be a big surprise to anyone, but I'm going to tell you, if you have someone that you care about, older, younger, whatever, that you get them an Apple Watch for the holidays. Now, which watch is going to kind of depend on you and just how serious you are about which functions. The 6 obviously is the top of the line right now, but the 5s are available, and some of the features are even available on the 4s. But I see the Apple Watch as having 3 big functions for me that are important. The first one is the obvious. It's a watch. It puts information, all kinds of information and capabilities on my wrist, including the S Lady. And that's really convenient. I love the fact that I can get text messages kind of surreptitiously that, I feel it buzz on my arm, but nobody in the room knows it. I look down, see what's going on, see if it's something that needs to be addressed or whether I can just ignore it. So that's great. The second thing is obvious. Another obvious one is the health part. There, with all the new enhancements to the capabilities of the Apple Watch, including watching your blood oxygen level, and all of those things, the heart monitors, depending again on the health situation of whoever you're getting this for, that may or may not be really important. We all joke about it. We tells us to stand every hour, but that is kind of important, for your health. And closing those rings, whether you are just super diligent about it or not, it still keeps it foremost in your mind that, hey, I should be doing a little something extra on this. So the health benefits are the second. But the third is the safety factor. And this to me is arguably the biggest thing, especially if you might be caring for elderly parents, or if you live alone like I do. Happily, I have no significant health issues, but if I were to take a header down the basement steps, they might not find me for a few days. And if you have elderly parents that you're taking care of, yeah, that could be a real big issue for them. And with the Apple Watch, you can set up alerts for those kind of things. And of course, whether you have your cell phone right on you, you might need to buy the cellular watch to be able to make phone calls from. If not, it can tap into your iPhone, assuming that's close to you, and give you a way to reach out for help should something happen. So, and I think that sometimes we get a little hung up on, some of the bells and whistles of the Apple Watch, instead of just looking at these basic functions that really enhance your safety and your security and potentially your health. And so I've equipped people I care about with an Apple Watch for some of those very reasons, and I would encourage you to do so too. Go take a look at them, figure out which ones make sense for the people you're talking about. If you balk at the price, I understand completely. But have you seen what you're paying in prescriptions? Have you seen what you're paying in health insurance premiums? Have you seen what you pay to see the doctor and have him pat you on the head and say, hey, you've got this or you've got that? I mean, this is not a lot of money when you put it in that healthcare spectrum. So take a good hard look at that. And then if that's the only way you look at it, all the other benefits are for free. But the Apple Watch is the watch for all those 3 reasons. And I think it makes the perfect holiday gift, whether you're buying for somebody that has geek tendencies or not. That's it.
No,
My sales pitch.
I'll burst your bubble just a bit. I do agree with everything you said in theory. I did write an article for TidBITS, though. I'll just tell you the headline. I bought an Apple Watch as a gift. It turned into a tech support setup nightmare. and I would encourage anyone who's wanting to buy an Apple Watch as a gift to read that. I'm not going to tell you not to. Okay, I'm not going to rain on Chuck's parade that much. However, I will say there are a number of caveats you need to be aware of. Now, Apple made it so you can set up an Apple Watch for a family member, even if they don't have an iPhone. Problem is, no, the heart stuff works. Now, in this case, I bought this for a family member who just had heart surgery. So that was a very important feature for us. And it's actually, now I will say, after the initial entire day of setting this stupid thing up, it's actually worked very well for that. It's caught some things that shouldn't have happened. But anyway, so it does work well for that. But here's the issue. It's tied to an iPhone. So first of all, you got to make sure they have an iPhone that will support an Apple Watch. I think right now that's a 6S or later for the latest Apple Watches. And also, you need to make sure their iPhone is up to date. This person in particular was still on iOS 12. And then, yeah, and then, so they were on iOS 12. I needed them on iOS 14, and they had like 1 gig of free space because they had a 16 gigabyte iPhone. And so what I had to do was back up the phone, wipe the entire thing, upgrade it, and then restore it. Thankfully, that all worked. But boy, I'm going to tell you, now you have to go to this and read the article. It was very dicey, and this was a process that took all day, between fixing the phone, because it bricked at one point. I went to update it, and the stupid thing bricked.
I remember you talking about this like in real time on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, I was riveted to Twitter, just watching to see what was going to happen next with this setup.
I'm glad somebody reads my Twitter. I always get the sense that everyone who follows me has muted me. So it's good. It's good to hear that
everyone except me.
Yeah, read my tweets and enjoy them. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I was probably cussing quite a bit that day. It was pretty scary. Not phoning to brick a loved one's iPhone. But anyway, I managed to get it all fixed and all that. But anyway, I'm just going to put that as a warning. I do agree in theory. I think Apple can make that setup process about 1 million times better, because right now it's horrible. Now, and that's especially tricky during this pandemic. Now, if you're buying it for someone who lives in your household, then it's a lot less stressful, because then you don't have to worry about all the viral crap, and you can just hey, give me your phone. I'm gonna fix it for you. And honestly, somebody if you're watching this show and somebody that lives with you, you probably make sure their phone's up to date anyway. There's only so much control you have over grandma's phone. But it's something to be aware of. I mean, somebody might hand you an iPhone 5C that's still on, I don't know, iOS whatever. I mean, and then the Apple Watch won't work because it's not an independent device. So anyway, I've rambled too long, but just to let you all know that that can be a real hassle.
No, Josh, I appreciate that. And you make a lot of good points. And the only thing I would say is some of this stuff is the setup is going to get easier, and the bumps are going to get smoothed out. And that's not justifying the pick. It's just, that's just the way it is. But for right now, for what it is, I mean, it's so much better, because I know I've got friends who do have mobility issues, and the last thing they want to do is hang one of those lanyards around their neck with the button. They say right, they feel like a cow, with a bell on. And this is something you can strap on an arm, and you have a chance of finding out something, because the lanyards are fine, but if they don't wear them, they're going to fail 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. If they're left on the kitchen counter, it's just not going to work. You got a much better chance with an Apple Watch. So, yeah. But if you think about it, Josh, send me a link. I'll make sure that article is in the show notes so people can be fully informed.
Chuck, right. Your button around the neck thing. This is something that I've had to deal with older family members in the past. And there's also the psychological thing of, well, if I put this around my neck, then this is a symbol to me and to everyone else that I'm weak, that I can't take care of myself, that I can't be independent. And if you can put an Apple Watch on someone in that same situation and not have to deal with the straight up nightmare that Josh did, then you can spin it into something that's more empowering. Well, when all of the grandchildren are text messaging you, you'll know right away, because you get to see that message right there, and and give it that sort of a spin, and now it becomes a useful, empowering tool, as opposed to that symbol that their own scarlet letter, if you will, that says that they're incapable of taking care of themselves anymore.
That is such a good point, Jeff. That is such a good point. And yeah, I mean, if you need to sell, if I need to sell you on buying somebody an Apple Watch, then go with what I said. If you need to sell somebody on wearing the Apple Watch, Jeff's points are so well taken. Yeah, because nobody wants to wear those buttons around their around their neck.
And at a certain age, falls are no joke. My 86-year-old grandmother had a fall last year, and she died a few months later. She was just stuck in the dang hospital for the rest of the year. And, unfortunately, I don't think it was the fall. I think it was just general incompetence that killed her. But I mean, it's that's just kind of how it goes. And so, you have a way to try to help them. That's good. I think we all used to laugh at the Life Alert commercials. That's what the little
Help, I've
medallion
fallen
was.
and I can't get up.
Oh, sure.
Right. We all kind of laughed at those, but I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, once you get past a certain age, I mean, all it takes is like one trip, and your trip is over. So, it's a real thing. It's a real benefit. And it's also some insurances, like some life insurances, some health insurances will pay for an Apple Watch. So that's something to look into. Also, like their insurance may pay for it, and they just don't know it. And you could help them get that set up, and that in itself is a pretty good gift.
Yeah, agreed. Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by Linode. You can build it on Linode. Linode is where you need to go for all your cloud server needs. They can handle your server for your website, or your mobile application, or your hosted services, or your gaming server, or your e-commerce solution. It doesn't matter what kind of server you need, Linode can handle it. And it doesn't matter where you need your server either. Linode has locations across the globe, from Dallas to London, Singapore to Sydney, 11 locations in all, so you are never far from a Linode server. Their predictable, straightforward pricing lets you budget for your project and not get surprised later. Pick the plan that makes sense for your needs now, but don't worry. Linode can meet your needs as your project grows, and you can make those changes at any time. There's a lot to know and a lot to like about Linode, and now is the time to get started. Mac Voices viewers and listeners get $100 in credit when they visit linode.com/MacVoices and click the Create Free Account button. That's $100 to get you started with S3 compatible storage, managed Kubernetes. Whatever you need, Linode can handle it. Again, linode.com/MacVoices for $100 in credit when you create your new account. Get started right now and have your new server up and running in minutes. linode.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Linode for their support of Mac Voices. Okay, gentlemen, we're in the last round. So this is your last pick of 2020. Make it a good one. Jeff?
Oh, now the pressure's on because I actually have a long list of stuff that I can still pick from. And I'm going to go probably about as crazy pants for me from this list. And don't worry, you won't have to edit anything, Chuck.
Thank you.
I am going with popcorn. Now, this is very specific popcorn. This is from a company called Boulder Popcorn, so it's local to me, and they make some really good popcorn. And so this is my favorite. It's called Mare's Mix. So they have 3 different breeds of corn that they use, and each one of them has different elements that are better than the others. When you put all 3 of them together, it's like the best popcorn ever. And it's just absolutely wonderful popcorn. And the reason I'm going with popcorn right now is because we are living in a time where every now and then we just need something that's feel good comfort thing. And popcorn is definitely a comfort food for me. And I am very particular about my popcorn, and like so much so that that there are certain brands of popcorn that if someone's going to make that, I just won't eat it because life is too short to put disappointing popcorn in your mouth. I am so much into my popcorn that, Josh, as you were talking about the tactical trash can, one of the thoughts that went through my head was, I can make popcorn in that, and it'll be good. So anyhow, it's seriously, it's wonderful popcorn. And Chuck, do you remember when I talked about PB Love peanut butter once, and you've tried it by now, I think, and it was good. So I think I've established that when there's a food product that I'm willing to just like go out on the limb with, it's going to be good. So this is like incredibly awesome popcorn. And this is not popcorn that you're going to use when you want to make like a popcorn garland, because you don't want to waste it in that way. This needs to go into your head. It's really good stuff. They do a 3-pack that is $17.85. And I don't even bother trying to find it in stores anymore. Okay, I'll qualify that. Even in the before time when we could safely go into stores, I just stopped going into stores trying to find it because it's so popular around here. It's just out of stock. So I have been ordering it directly from the company for like 2 years now. And they do fast turnaround. So, it shows up in just a few days, and they're awesome people. And there was one time where I accidentally had the wrong address in because they do, I forgot which of the online payment systems they use, but it's one where once you're logged in, it remembers the address that you used for the last thing you bought from another company that uses the same system. So I had popcorn that was going to go to the wrong address. So I just shot him an email and said, hey, here's what happened. Here's what my order was. And they emailed me back almost immediately and said, not a problem. Your popcorn will show up at the right address. And it did. So good customer service as well.
Customer service is what it's all about.
Boulder popcorn.
And good,
it's
and good popcorn.
Yeah.
And good popcorn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's something else I got to order. Josh, your last pick of 2020.
All right. So this actually ties into what we talked about at the start of the show. So, some of you out there in Mac land, actually, probably most of you, if you're working from your Mac on Thursday afternoon, suddenly found that you couldn't launch any apps. You couldn't, everything was slow because a server on Apple's end screwed up. Oh, it turns out all of your app data gets sent to Apple when you open an app. So, for your protection. So anyway, I'm a little annoyed, but it's good to have a backup. If a monoculture isn't a good thing, right? Like, if all your stuff is Apple, it'll all work together just fine. But if it fails, if there's a single point of failure, as we found out, then everything stops working. And that's not good. So it's good to have a backup, and it's good to get a friend to backup. And one of my favorite alternative machines are old ThinkPads. I love the heck out of these things, specifically the ones from around 2011, 2012. The unfortunate thing is Lenovo, the newer ThinkPads are basically plastic MacBooks. They went with the chiclet keyboard, and they glue everything down, solder everything down, and it's just a MacBook except, worse. And that's no good. These ThinkPads, though, are amazing because there's so many of them out there. They're used by big businesses. You get them cheap. Like, a computer that once cost $2,500 is like $100. Like they're worth basically nothing. $100, $200, you can get a pretty good one. It might need a new battery. It might need some little fixes here and there. But what's great about these machines, if you ever gotten frustrated by just having like 2 little USB-C ports and everything's glued down, no, not the ThinkPad. The ThinkPad is every single piece of this can be taken apart. Now I can't actually show it because I'm actually using it right now. But like, if you want to take the display out, swap the display, you can do that. I replaced the hard drive. It was one screw. I pulled out a panel. I pulled out the hard drive. I put the new hard drive in. It was literally that easy. So if you ever get frustrated by those limitations of these newer MacBooks, the ThinkPad is like the antithesis of that. If you hate the little chiclet keyboard that gets jammed easily, I know the newer ones aren't supposed to get jammed as easily. This thing's got like a big old. I have the ThinkPad T420. This thing has the big old-fashioned IBM, clacky laptop keyboard. Nothing can jam it. It came from eBay with one broken key, and I just bought a new key and just slapped it on there, and it works fine. You can't do that with a MacBook. So I'm not going to try to say this is like a better machine than a MacBook because it's 10 years old. It has its limitations. This one in particular came. The keyboard was shoved full of dog hair for some reason. I think a veterinarian must have used it. So I call this particular machine Chewbacca because I spent a whole afternoon with a shop vac getting the hair out. But there's a lot of these machines out there They're super cheap and they're still very useful. I've been working from one all week, and it keeps up with my newer and much more expensive Macs fairly well. You can put like Linux or something on them, and they work pretty well. Or hey, you get one of these old ThinkPads, you throw it in your tactical trash can, and you'll have a perfectly functional, repairable machine for the post-apocalypse. Yeah, but they're just. I'm not sure I don't want to buy the new ones, because it's like I said, it's like a MacBook but worse. But the older ones, these classic, super repairable, super modifiable, built like a tank, last forever, and you can get them for $100 to $200. Yeah, the old Lenovo ThinkPads, great little gift for the technically minded people.
Jeff, do you think that Josh is getting a kickback on the tactical trash cans?
Absolutely.
He's selling them awfully hard. Really is. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, throw it in your tactical trash can.
But I do love the idea of
I should really make
trash
it.
can.
Yeah, I don't hear him denying it either. That's the thing.
I'm thinking of business ideas here. I'm thinking like I could make a wrap for a trash can that's got like Molly on the outside, so you can strap accessories to it. Like make an actual tactical trash can, with multicam and
multicam.
And if you do camo spray paint on it, do you realize how much more you can sell that for?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously, like if you ever buy tactical equipment, I know you guys probably don't, but like like anything that comes in the multicam pattern, like you're gonna pay like $30 more for it. It's like, oh, you want that backpack in black at $20. Oh, you want in multicam $50, and guys will buy it. It's seriously, like it's a great business opportunity.
Yeah, and really all you need, it's like 3 cans of spray paint and a stencil.
Yeah.
Says the guy who apparently is going into the tactical painting business.
I see a business collaboration in our future, Josh.
I'm seeing dollar signs just flashing from my eyes.
Yeah, you guys can talk after the show. All right. Well, this is my last pick for this show anyway. And I'm sure that there are going to be people that get a little upset with me on this one, but that's
okay. Oh my God, you're doing tactical trash can also.
No, I'm not. No.
I recommended a PC just now, so I mean, if they'll be upset with anybody, it'll be me.
Yeah, good point. I'm going to suggest that if you aren't already, that either you or you can give it as a gift, but subscribe to Amazon Prime. Couple reasons. Okay, now I know that Amazon is seen by some as the great destroyer of retail in America, and there may be some truth to that. That's a whole nother show. But at the end of the day, Amazon has just about anything you want or need. And if you get Amazon Prime, I mean, they are doing an amazing job of deploying a delivery fleet across the nation. So you can have just about anything in a day or two with Amazon Prime. And that's really important right now, to have things come to you that you need or want, as opposed to you going and trying to hunt them down in a store and expose yourself to the virus situation that we have out there. There's and a lot of states, as we record this, are going into even heavier lockdown, which just makes it all that much more important to let the people that are prepared and ready to deploy these things, let them work for you. And Amazon Prime, I'm talking right now just about the delivery, but there are a lot of ancillary services, not the least of which are the video services. They have some really great original programming. They have some really great access to things like that. There's a whole, sometimes honestly, I don't even remember all the different things that roll into Amazon Prime. I tend to think of it as A, next day delivery or 2-day delivery, and B, some of the video stuff. But there are other benefits out there. And if Josh or Jeff know of any, throw them in, because right now I'm blanking. But the big thing right now, as far as I'm concerned, is if you buy in now, if you're going to use it once or twice a year, no, it's not going to be worth it. But if it prevents you from going to the store and letting things come to you, then I just think it's an incredible value for what's going on out there in the world today, and the way that they're asking us not to move around. Because, we all have things that we need, we all have things we want, and the Amazon guy makes regular stops here at my house, and sometimes for the stupidest, silliest little things. But it would cost me more in gas and time to go and try to find them at the local stores or hardware stores or whatever than it does for me to just say, there it is, click, and it shows up on my doorstep a couple of days later. So am I spoiled? Absolutely. But I think it also can be looked at as a good investment in health as well as time and money. So Amazon Prime, go for it.
Yeah, Chuck, a lot of people have a serious problem with Amazon, and I can appreciate that. And there are concerns about how their warehouse workers and delivery people are treated. I can appreciate that. And there are a lot of mom and pop businesses that are probably not around anymore because Amazon is more convenient, and certainly has been an issue for a lot of bookstores. That said, holy crap, I rely on Amazon weekly, if not almost daily, and because of where we are right now with the lockdowns, having to deal with trying to not die from a pandemic, Amazon has become an absolutely critical part of my shopping routine. Things that I need every month, things that I need daily. Shoot, even now with grocery shopping, I go to Amazon, click on Whole Foods, I get my shopping list together, pick the time that I want to come pick up my groceries, and I don't even go into grocery stores anymore. So it's become absolutely critical for me. Like, so much so, I got an Amazon credit card so that I can get my Amazon cash back from my Amazon purchases. And clearly I buy a lot because I get a lot of cash back. Other benefits that come along with this, yes, you get the free 1 day and 2 day shipping. There's all the entertainment services. So you have streaming television, TV shows, movies, music. There are Amazon games. That's not going well, but that's a thing as well. And then periodically you will get special deals that aren't available to non-Prime people. And this is creepy, and at the same time really handy. Amazon knows how often I buy certain things, so periodically I'll just get the little boop sound on an Echo, and it does a little flashy yellow thing to let me know I have a message. I'll tell the A lady to read my messages, and the A lady will say that it's about time for me to reorder deodorant or whatever it is. Should I put that in your cart? And invariably, it's at exactly the right time for me to say, yes, put that in my cart.
I haven't gotten to that point because I haven't tied things in quite that much, Jeff. But, it is, and this is a whole other discussion for another show, but there has to be this, if you want the convenience of that kind of thing, you're going to have to compromise on a little privacy, whatever that means. Because, it can't know what you want unless you tell it that that's what you want, and then let it track it for you. But and you don't have to, that's the kind of the beauty here. If you aren't into the video services, if you're not into the game services, you don't have to use it. Just use it for delivery. But, don't overlook all the other benefits of it. And especially during the pandemic, hey, the drivers are out there. I mean, I guess I'm taking the flip side of it. I'm looking at it as the drivers are working. Are they being treated properly? That too is a discussion for another time. But at the end of the day, they have jobs. And so you are supporting someone that is paying someone to do something. And so I just think selfishly, I think, again, trying to protect people I care about, I would much rather order for them through Amazon and let it be delivered than to have them going out and wandering around the stores and the malls trying to find something. So I told you, so much COVID-related things, so many COVID-related things this year that you really have to think about it in a new light. So,
but we live in a different world now.
Yeah, literally in a different world. Well, guys, thank you. This has been. I always think that this has to be the most diverse set of picks for any panel, and then the next panel comes along and just blows me away. So,
yeah, but good luck topping this one.
Well, good luck topping the tactical trash can. Yeah, I agree.
I want a tactical trash can now.
Okay. Well, I know that there's this guy on my screen. It's right at the bottom. You can just connect with him, and he can hook you up. No question.
Sweet.
I should have set up an e-com site. Every Apple person is going to want a crazy paranoid trash can now. I should have been all set up.
Everyone's going to throw a MacBook Air, an old iPhone, a couple chargers, and some spare batteries into their tactical trash can. And
hey, just think about your if you have a collection of classic Macs, like I know a lot of people do. Hey, you don't want the Ruskies taking those out, do you? Yeah, stick them in the trash can. You're not doing anything with them.
Oh, man, we got to get out of here.
Jeff, backup of your iTunes library. All that stuff.
Yeah, there you go. That's an important.
Oh my God,
that's not a terrible idea.
My Plex server needs to be in a tactical trash can.
Right. All my pirated movies. All the Rambos.
No.
It's 720p
on VHS. Jeff, where can folks find you when you're not here?
They can find me hanging out at Josh's in his tactical trash can.
Yeah.
If I'm not there, how about Twitter and Instagram? I'm Gamet, both places. And for anyone that's freaking out because I did a massive dump of photos and stuff over the last couple days, I apologize. But I got so excited about talking about HomePod Mini that I ended up doing an unboxing and first impressions. It was practically a live stream. I was posting so much, and then followed it up a few hours later with an audio comparison. So, sorry about that for loading up everyone's streams, but I just couldn't help myself.
No, hey. Always nice to see you in our streams and here on MacVoices. No question about it.
It's always a blast to be here. So thanks for inviting me on.
Hey, thank you. Happy holidays.
And happy holidays.
The tactical man himself, Mr. Josh Centers. Where can we find you?
Well, I'm on all the various social things, mostly Twitter and Jay Centers, Facebook, Parler, if you're one of those people. I got a YouTube, all that stuff. You can always, but you can always find me directly on my own platform at joshcenters.com. And also, of course, you can find most of my Apple stuff at TidBITS.com. You can read my prepper stuff at theprepared.com. And you can read my Apple tech books at takecontrolbooks.com.
Great. Jeff, thanks. Jeff. I'm looking at Jeff and talking to Josh. Josh, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great holiday, you and your family.
Thanks for having me on. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. We'll be back with more gift guide shows, more great picks, and just more good times. That's what these shows are all about. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.